And we have some breaking news just in.
A former member of One Direction, Liam Payne, has died.
He fell from the 3rd floor in a hotel.
Paramedics pronounced Liam dead at the scene.
It hadn't even been 24 hours and there were already countless jokes of him going in One Direction, many Payne pun jokes, Liam Payne dancing at the gates of heaven, and of course there's already a Roblox game. And I think it's best encapsulated in this one comment. This was how I found out. I'm gonna be completely honest, I found myself laughing. I thought maybe it's just because I never really knew much about Payne in the first place. Maybe it was because of the ridiculous speed of the memes. Or maybe I was actually laughing at a situation that has just left a 7-year-old fatherless. I was shocked by myself. Have we all become so desensitized without even knowing? Well, I spent the last 72 hours investigating, and this is what I found. In the past, there was this unspoken rule, a sort of social contract. It was this idea that after a tragedy, there would be this window of time before jokes could be made about it. Remember when news first hit of the Titan sub with 5 missing people? Well, almost all the initial coverage was somber and serious, for at least the first 48 hours. But then came the memes. That, I already thought the time was pretty fast. And I mean, now we're making jokes before the body has even gotten the chance to be cold. And the duration of that too soon window, it's usually determined by this vague, unspoken sense of how bad the tragedy was on the tragedy scale. It's not like anyone had a formal guide, but we all kind of just felt our way through it. Like, if your friend just broke his leg by doing some dumbass, jackass stunt, like trying to jump off a roof and land in the pool and missing, you might wait a day before cracking a joke. But if something really serious happened, like someone losing a loved one, or in this case, a father, the too soon window would stretch out much longer. Days, weeks, years, or maybe it would never open up. But in today's world where graphic videos and images circulate like wildfire, it's a different story. Lots of us grew up with sites like LiveLeak, where you can just casually find the most disturbing real-life gore. Kids can literally just watch other people's lives fade from their eyes. It's no wonder we've become numb. I mean, what used to be shocking content is just another Tuesday on Twitter. So if the duration of the window is determined by how bad we perceive the situation, if we don't perceive anything, then there's no need to wait. There is no window. But that's just anecdotal. Are we actually getting less empathetic, or is it just a myth? Look at this meta-analysis. It's basically just a giga study. It was headed by Sarah Conrath, PhD in social psychology, where they took findings from 72 separate studies and put them all together to make a giga study. And what they found, I think, will surprise you. From the 30 years between 1979 to 2009, they tracked 4 things. 1. Empathy, your ability to feel compassion and concern for others. 2. Perspective taking, your ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. 3. Fantasy is your ability to project yourself onto fictional characters from movies, games, and books. And finally, 4. Personal distress. It's your level of discomfort or anxiety in response to other people's distress. What they found was that perspective taking barely changed, fantasy and personal distress had no notable changes, and empathy, well, empathy was found to have a 75% drop. And if algorithms are designed to give us what we want, what happens when we start wanting less empathetic content? Okay, this one's gonna be really fast. I think we all know that social media isn't your best friend. Blah blah blah, negativity, etc, 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 your attention span, blah blah blah. I don't want to bore you with information you've already heard before, so let's just jump straight to the point. Algorithms value one thing above all, and that is engagement. Likes, shares, comments, and what is the best driver for engagement? Anger and shock. And if you're making a joke about a tragedy, what's the best way to maximize shock? Be first. And while the reactions in the comments might be a mixed bag between disgust and laughter, it's all the same to the algorithm. Make a shocking joke about a tragedy and you've got yourself some engagement gold. But that leads us to another problem. And I'm not talking about that boring morality stuff, is that we literally need to keep on one-upping the last shocking post. Because yesterday's shock is just today's news. We're constantly exposed by content that is supposed to shock us, but after a while, the shock wears off. And suddenly, we're not flinching at anything at all. We need a bigger hit. Okay, I don't want this video to be so doom and gloom, and I just want to reestablish that humor, for the most part, is a good thing. It brings people together and it diffuses tense situations, and laughter has always had a way of bringing people together in the weirdest and best ways possible. I want to share with you one of my favorite examples of this, which was at the funeral of an Irishman who left a little surprise for his loved ones.
Hello? 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 Let me out! Is that the priest I can hear? Let me out! Hello? Hello? I was called to say goodbye. I'm going to die, I'm afraid to say.
Or this video of a soldier making jokes moments after a bullet grazing his helmet.
That shit was close, dude.
Hunter, what's going on right now?
We're getting shot at by single shot Freddy.
Who's that?
I have a feeling he's a blind Afghan man somewhere between the ages of 60 and 75 years old. And he likes to scare the shit out of us with these single shots that he takes. He's been getting real close, so we're all hiding right now.
How come you think he's blind?
Well, because he hasn't hit anything yet.
Humor has this incredible ability to turn the darkest moments into something we can actually process. It's why people crack jokes at funerals, or why soldiers literally dodging death still find a room to laugh. It's not about disrespect, it's about survival. When we laugh, it feels like we're taking some sort of power back from the universe. You're not just a passive victim of whatever tragedy is unfolding. You're actively choosing to not let it defeat you. So, am I saying we should just never be risky with humor? Or should we all just agree to wait before making jokes? I don't think so. At the end of the day, it's us lacking empathy through no fault of our own, exacerbated by algorithmic feedback loops that are at the heart of it. What really shocked me during this deep dive was realizing just how desensitized I have become without even noticing. And I found myself laughing at things that not too long ago would have made me react differently. I hope at the very least this video gets you to pause for a second and reflect on the kind of content that you're consuming, and more importantly, how it's affecting you as a person. If you like what you see, then great. And if you don't, well, you'd be glad you looked. Don't let yourself get taken by surprise like I did. Watch yourself. And yeah, that's about everything I have to say. So now like and subscribe.